from here all the way up to Singapore Depository Receipts. That is the one that you can actually buy. Could be kind of like the upside targets. What are some of the top Thailand stocks that are listed on the SGX, just like any other normal Singapore stocks, and you can actually take a position in them? Well, this is what we call Thai SDR, Singapore Depository Receipts. Hey guys, Joey here, top-tier MyZero trader in Philip Securities, and in this video, I'll be sharing with you guys just three out of the entire 8 Thai SDRs that we have listed on the SGX right now. So of course, we have 8 now. Not all of them are good. Some of them might be a little bit weak, might be going lower. But in my watch list, there are just 3 of them, which I think you can put in your watch list as well for potentially more upside. So we'll dive into the charts of these 3 underlying stocks before I'm going to share with you guys how you can actually buy this Thai SDR like any other normal Singapore stocks, right, to potentially get some gains and profits as well. Let's go. The first Thailand stock I'd like to share with you will be this company called Advanced Info Service. The code is ADVANC. This is the one that's listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. This is the underlying stock, but as I mentioned, you don't have to buy this one. You can actually buy what we call the Thai SDR. I'll share more with you in a bit, but let's take a look at this stock right now to see why it has came into my watch list over the past 1 to 2 weeks. So essentially, you can see that this stock has turned into what we call an uptrend over the past 1 month. Why? You can see that since like last year, we were actually in what we call a sideways consolidation from like about 190 to about 200, maybe all the way to like 225 Thai baht. So it gone all the way up, came all the way back down, started to see a bit of a rebound. So a bit of a sideways movement with the longer term trend in terms of the 100 days moving average, the red line and even the blue line kind of like moving sideways. So a bit of a sideways movement, a little bit boring, not too much of a strength. It came down a little bit, but buyers came back and we started to see the rebound happening somewhere in May this year. So why has it came into my watch list? Well, I talk about this resistance level as one of my previous video. This is what we call a very key level whereby we touched somewhere in October last year and came down. It's about 225 Thai baht. And as you look back, right, maybe all the way back in 2022, about 2 years back, same thing, right? We hit it to around that 225 Thai baht, 220 Thai baht, and we sold all the way down. So like 2 times, 3 times, we hit it there and we sold off. That's what we call a very heavy or key resistance level that we definitely want to break above in order for more upside to happen, in order to turn from like a sideways or like a downtrend to an uptrend, right? So yeah, over the past 1 month, you can see right over here since like I would say mid of July, a few weeks back, we finally managed to break above what we call the 225 Thai baht level. So that is the first sign of strength. For the past like 2 years, we have not gone above it. Finally, we got above the 225 Thai baht. That is a very meaningful move. It's a good thing. And of course, when we look at the moving average, you can see that the green line, the 20 days moving average, which represents the short-term trend, has also started to slope up, right? So we broke the resistance, the short-term trend is up. That is where potentially we can see more upside. So it started to push up, and you can see that that is where we have a resistance maybe right over here. Over the past week, it seems like we are seeing some selling coming back, maybe around the 250 Thai baht level, right? So you can see some bearishness is coming, sellers are coming back, it's like consolidating maybe from 240 to about 250 Thai baht, right? So let's take a look at the longer term trend. So remember, like when we look at the longer term trend, we look at what we call the moving average in the 100 days and the 200 days moving average. So finally, you can see that maybe today, right over here today, the 100 days and 200 days moving average was like pointing down, slightly flat a little bit. But right now, you can see that there are some signs of the longer term trend starting to turn up as well in terms of the 100 days moving average crossing back above the 200 days moving average. So 100 red above the blue line, the 200 days moving average, that could be a sign of strength. Something like what we saw maybe over here. Look at this, right? So when the 100 days moving average, that was in 2023, last year, when it was turning to an uptrend, it pushed from like about 190 all the way to 225, right? So yeah, look at this, right? So 100 days, red above the blue, both started to point up. You can see that the reversal actually happened all the way up. So this is what is potentially happening right now. All right, it was like sideways, and the red line is starting to cross back above the blue line, as you can see, right? Okay, so this is a stock that's in my watch list, and right now we are at about 240 44 Thai baht. So what could be a play right now in terms of entry, when to get out and stuff like that, right? Well, essentially, I would say that right now, we are seeing some support around the 225. So 225 would be a very key resistance level, all right? And we can turn this to a green color support level. So I mentioned about this resistance for past 2 years, right? We broke above it. Now that would be a new support level. And if we can stay above this 225 level, great. I think the uptrend looks intact. We can potentially push even higher, right? But it seems like, it doesn't really come back down to retest the support. It seems like the support has gone even higher. So maybe right now, what I would say, maybe the support could be around that 235, so not 225, maybe at 235, and that is potentially where some bargain hunting can come back again. All right, so what could an entry be in terms of buying what we call the SDR, right? This Thai SDR that's listed on the SGX, just like any other normal Singapore stock, like your banks or DBS and everything, same thing, right? So this is like a normal Singapore stock. Well, you can buy what we call the Advanced Info Service Thai SDR. So I'll show you guys in a bit in terms of the ticker code and all that, but essentially, how do we get the price of the SDR? So very simple. You can see that I put like 0.92. This is 92 cents Singapore dollars. So you can see the price in terms of the underlying. So this is the underlying stock, right? 250 Thai baht would be the resistance level. That's where some selling can happen. So how do we get like from 250 Thai baht to 0.92 Singapore dollars? Well, so that's simple, right? 250 Thai baht, you can times the exchange rate, the normal exchange rate from Thai baht to Singapore dollars. So 250 times 0.037, all right, that is, we get about like $9 plus. But for Advanced Info Service, you have to divide it by 10 because in terms of Advanced Info Service, this stock, this SDR, there's a ratio of like, 10 SDR to 1 underlying. So very simple, you take the Thai baht times 0.037, the exchange rate, and then you divide it by 10, right? And that's how you get 0.92. So for example, this is like 235 Thai baht. Look at this support level right here. So 235, so let's just take 235 times 0.037, the exchange rate, and then we divide it by 10, and we get about 87 cents. Does it make sense? So we can put this right over here, about 0.87, right? 0.87, that would become like the Singapore dollars in terms of conversion to a support level. So 0.87 could be the support. Let me just put it in green color. So I think if prices were to near, like in terms of the Thai SDR, maybe 87, 88 or somewhere near there, that could be an entry to get in again, to ride all the way to 92. Of course, if this 250 resistance level were to be broken right over here, if to break this resistance, great. Potentially we may see more upside. So it could be like from 0.87 to 92. Of course, after this 250 Thai baht is broken, we can hit maybe even higher to like 260 to 270. Upside targets can be revised. Okay, so how do we buy what we call the SDR? So let me just show you right over here. You can see that this is the underlying ADVANC, Advanced Info Service, all right, that is listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand, right? But as I mentioned, you don't have to buy that. You can buy what we call the SDR. So you can see the price is about 244 Thai baht. You look down, we have this AIS, which stands for Advanced Info Service, space TH stands for Thai, right? So Thai space SDR, Singapore Depository Receipts. That is the one that you can actually buy. That is like any other normal Singapore stock. So you can see the code is TADD, and the price is about 0.92. Yes, this is in Singapore dollars, 92 cents. So remember, we talked about this price after conversion. We are seeing support around that 87 cents, 88 cents. So yeah, if it dips to that level, that's where you could potentially time your entry to get in on what we call this SDR called TADD. So you can go to any trading platform, just type the code TADD, or you can just type like AIS space TH space SDR, and that's where you can find this SDR. Okay, so let's move on to the second Thailand stock. I'll share with you of this entire 8, right? So this is the second one that I think is not too bad. We are seeing some signs of a reversal happening, right? And the code is GULF, right? Gulf, that is listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So later I'll share with you guys the same thing, the SDR that you can buy, that is listed on the SGX. And by the way, guys, if you found some value in this video, go ahead to give me a like, smash the subscribe button. That will really help out the channel. And thank you so much for doing this, right? Hit the follow button as well, all right? So you can see this is Gulf at about 47.50 Thai baht. So for Gulf Energy, you can see that we have been pretty much in a downtrend, right? Look at this since like 2023, since beginning of last year. We can draw actually this downward sloping, what we call channel resistance. Like you can see prices have been like nearing it, coming even lower, rebound a bit, go lower, rebound, go lower, right? So a bit of a downtrend. So if you ask me like last year, I would say probably not buy. But you know what happens is that over the past 1 month, right, finally you can see that we have breached above this downward sloping channel resistance line. So that's the first sign of strength, that you know, we could potentially start to see a reversal in the mid to long term, right? So that's the first sign of strength. Let me just remove this downward sloping line. And the next sign of strength is that we have also broken above this very key resistance level. It's a price level whereby, you know, over the past 1 year, we have touched many times and come back down, but finally we did not come back down. We managed to go above it, right? So that's a good thing. So what is that level? Well, this level is that 46 Thai baht level since August, September last year. Look at this, right? We touched, we came down, we touched, we came down, we neared it, we came down, same thing, we came down again. But finally, in like, you know, July, about a few weeks back, we managed to go above and break above that 46 Thai baht level, right? So 46 Thai baht level is a very key resistance. Now that would be what we call a new support level. So let me just turn this to green color. And of course, 46 Thai baht, if you want to convert it in terms of the Thai SDR that you can buy, how to do it? Well, very simple for this Gulf Energy. So Gulf Energy is pretty much a play on the largest gas-fired power, and it's a renewable energy producer in Thailand. So it's a play on the energy sector, all right? And if you want to convert this to Thai SDR in terms of the Singapore dollar price, very simple. You just need to times the exchange rate. So 46 times 0.037, right? The exchange rate. So 46 Thai baht to times 0.037, you get the Singapore dollar price. That is $1.70. So this is a bit different. You do have to divide it by 10 because it's a 1-to-1 ratio in terms of one SDR to one underlying. So you just need to times the exchange rate of 0.037. So you can see, right? This 46 Thai baht, which is about $1.70 Singapore dollars, right? So later look at the SDR price. So again, potentially, I think right now we may see some buying pressure. That's what's happening over the past 1-2 weeks, all the way up maybe to a resistance. The next resistance could be all the way here, somewhere around that 50 Thai baht. That's a psychological. You can see right up here. So 50 Thai baht converted to Singapore dollars is about $1.85. So I think it looks quite good, right? As long as we stay above that 46, I think upside to 50 Thai baht. If we break 50, potentially we may see even more upside towards that 54. You can see it from here, maybe all the way to here. And that would be the next resistance level that we have seen as well, right? So that could be kind of like the upside target. So if it nears what we call the 46 Thai baht, so near 170, potentially you could get in to get time of entry to ride it all the way up to maybe about 185 to maybe even that $2, you know, Singapore dollars kind of resistance, right? So let's take a look at the SDR right now. Okay, so this is Gulf Energy right here. You can see the code is GULF, the one that is listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand. So it's about 47.50 Thai baht. So you have to buy this, as I mentioned, you can buy what we call the SDR, right? Singapore Depository Receipts. Right over here, let's look down. You can see the name is Gulf space TH, which means Thai, space SDR. And the code is TGED, and you can see the price now is about $1.79 Singapore dollars. So this Singapore dollar price. So we talk about the support level being about $1.70, near 170, right? So if it does hit to near 170, 175, 74, 73, that is potentially where you could time your entry to get in, to ride it all the way to like 185 to maybe even $2. So this is what we call the SDR. Okay, let's move on to the third and final stock. I'll share with you out of the entire 8 Thailand stocks. This is what we call Delta Electronics. The code is DELTA, Delta. This is the underlying listed on the Stock Exchange of Thailand, right? So what is this company doing? Well, it is a kind of like electronics company. It's a beneficiary of what we call the EV space, data centers in Thailand, all right? And why do we like this company? Well, I would say that for Delta Electronics, same thing like Gulf Energy, right? It was pretty boring, I would say, pretty weak as well since last year. In fact, it turned into a bit of a downtrend. Same thing, right? You can see we could draw this downward sloping channel resistance line connecting the highs, and it was forming lower highs. So a bit of a downtrend until somewhere in like May, June, just about 2 months back, we started to break above, same thing, this channel resistance. So that's the first sign of strength, but we got more signs of confirmation coming back, right over here. You can see that the 100 days moving average, right, the red line, right now, it is actually starting to cross back above the blue line. So that could be where the longer term trend can potentially start to turn up. Does it make sense? Right? And you can see before that, when we turned into a downtrend, it was right over here. That was like in November, right? Right over here, you can see we turned into a bit of a downtrend. We went even lower when the 100 days went below the blue and both started to point down. But right now, you can see that reversal is starting to happen back again, more from, in terms of a downwards direction to an upwards direction. So that's another confirmation. The next confirmation would be that you can see that we actually broke above this resistance level. This would be the 95 Thai baht. Okay, let me just remove this right over here. You can see this is the 95 Thai baht level. It was a bit of a support, right? 95 support. We broke down, attempted to get back up, but you can see sellers came back and we went all the way down. And we actually attempted to, break it a couple of times somewhere in July. It didn't happen, but finally we went above, right, the 95 Thai baht. So this is a very key resistance. Same thing, signs of the uptrend, the longer term forming. We break a key level, 95 Thai baht, and this 20 days moving average line, the green line, that represents what we call the short term trend. It has turned up since like June, right? So obviously right now it is still pointing up, so the short-term trend still looks good. So anything above like 95 Thai baht or maybe 90 Thai baht to give a little bit of allowance, I think it looks pretty good. We could see more upside, maybe from here all the way up to maybe around the 120 Thai baht, right? Why 120? Well, you could see that is where we have seen selling, all right? Just last year, we came down, we touched, we came down. So it's what we call a very key resistance level, right? So let's convert it to like Singapore dollars. Very simple. For Delta Electronics, it is the 1-to-1 ratio. One SDR is to one underlying stock. So very simple to convert it to Singapore dollars to buy the SDR. You just need to take the price. So 95 Thai baht times 0.037. You get about $3.52 Singapore dollars. Same thing, if you get like 120 Thai baht, the resistance, you times 0.037 is about $4.44 Singapore dollars, right? So if it were to near the Thai SDR, the Singapore one, right, in terms of it nearing like 350, 355, I think that's where potentially you get in terms of an entry to ride it all the way up maybe to the resistance at about $4.44. So let me just share with you guys in terms of the SDR that you can buy, just like any other normal Singapore stocks, for Delta Electronics. Okay, so this is Delta Electronics. The code is Delta. You can see it's about 102.50 Thai baht. So, the exchange rate do change at time. Could be 0.037. Sometimes it could be 0.038. So just to give you an idea of what is it like this to the formula to convert from Thai baht to Singapore dollars. So you can just convert accordingly, whether it's 0.037 or 0.038. So it depends on where the exchange rate goes, right? So if it's 0.038, you times 0.038. So in this sense right now, you can see the price is for this Thai SDR is Delta space TH Thai SDR. The code is TDED and the price is about $3.90 Singapore dollars. So let's see, right? So you can see 102.50 you times 0.038. I think the exchange rate is slightly higher, so times 0.038 is about $3.90. Yeah, so that is pretty much where we are right now. So I think if you were to near to like the support level that I mentioned, all right, to 95 Thai baht. So 95 Thai baht, you can just times 0.038. So this is based on the 0.037 exchange rate to be a bit exact. You can times 0.03. I think would be slightly higher. All right, and that's where you could get the support level in terms of the Singapore dollar amount. All right, so this is Delta space TH SDR. The code is TDED. So these are pretty much the 3 Thailand stocks out of the entire 8, right, that is listed on the SGX, what we call under Thai SDR, that you can kind of put in a watch list for potentially more upside. So I hope you have kind of taken note of the key levels as to why I like them in terms of the trend, in terms of some support and resistance that we have broken, and you have a better picture, all right? And if you like this video, guys, go to give me a like, smash the subscribe button. That will definitely help out the channel. And if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire strategy into how we know how to pick winning stocks, how do we know when to get in, when to get out, how to have a system to guide us as well, make sure you attend one of those free webinars that we're running. The link is right below the video. Just click on it, register for a 2 hours webinar whereby I'll share with you guys the entire one good trend, in short, one GT framework, all right, that explains to you the entire strategy. All right, so Joey here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.